Good evening and welcome to our first episode of our Controlled-ish Chaos podcast. My name is Kyle. With me is my wife Kayla.
Hello.
This evening we're going to go through the dynamic of our household and give you a breakdown of how everything functions. Since I haven't been interrupted yet, I'll go ahead and go first. I am a senior master technician at a car dealership. I am the fun, dynamic, troublemaking parent, but I am also the enforcer, so if you do something wrong and mom has to call me, you're probably already past trouble.
I'm the maker of the rules.
Me?
Dad just has to enforce them.
I make my own rules that
That's
don't
the
apply
problem.
to me.
That's the problem. I am the caretaker and the keeper of the heathens, the chef, the teacher, the chauffeur, the running coach, and I do my best to teach them life skills and also common sense. I am quickly learning common sense is not teachable.
I was once told there's no such thing as common sense, only common knowledge. When you're born, you don't know not to touch the stove that's hot until you touch the stove that's hot and it burns the shit out of you. Then it's common knowledge that you shouldn't touch the stove. We were told there's no such thing as common sense when we
It's
were
a
in college.
good thing we're audio only right now because my face, I'm sure, would be great. If you look at the stove and there is fire coming out of it, here's your fucking sign. It's hot.
You gotta learn that first. You don't just know it as a baby that that's hot.
Well, if you're a baby, you probably can't reach it anyways.
I'd hope not.
Your daughter tried to go running in her rain boots with no socks on today. And when I say tried to, I mean she did, and I didn't realize it till we were halfway and she kicks her fucking shoe off and fixes her pant leg. There's no sock on her. I'm like, are you kidding me?
Is that rain?
Yes.
So,
Like, I know they don't have sneakers, and that's fine. And we run short enough periods to where it's not a huge deal. And they can basically walk along behind me to keep up. But why the fuck don't you have socks on? And she's like, I got a rock in my shoe. Well, I don't have any fucking socks on. So starting with the oldest of our children, we have Rain. She is my mini-me. She's also a mini teenager, but don't tell her I said that. She's a caretaker without anybody having to ask her. She has a natural nurturing instinct. She can lack the common sense, though. We're working on it. She's also our shy, kind of nervous kid. She doesn't necessarily want to go first, but if you go first, she'll jump in right behind you. She is driven in all aspects of life. She is driven as a people pleaser, as an athlete, and as a student. She's motivated solely by positive reinforcement and recognition of her good actions.
next down the line we have Marnie. She's our goofy kid. Everything with her is always a joke, but she's also the clumsiest one we have. She's always walking into doors, walls, stubbing her toes, hurting herself. If there's a way for her to trip over the air, she will find it. She's also our emotional kid. Extremely. When she's happy, you'll know it. When she's sad, you'll know it. If Marnie is feeling something, you won't have a problem figuring out what that is. If you look at her the wrong way, you might make her cry.
Next, we have Karina. She is daddy's little girl through and through. She tolerates mom's presence when dad's not around. She's temperamental about everything. She's super picky, also, about everything. And she is a wild child. Think 90s cartoons wild.
Bouncing off the walls.
That kid bounces off the walls.
Last, and certainly,
Are you sure you
No.
want to use that word?
last, and certainly not least, we've got Ira. Ira is our bully child. If she wants something, she will push you out of the way. She will shove you out of the way. It doesn't matter if you're on the couch, the floor, the stairs. She's going to get through and get what she wants. She is the loudest child we have. Small but mighty. And that kid goes 0 to 100 in no time flat. But with all that supersonic speed, she is also a klutz. She will take off running, turn to look at you, and run directly into a wall. Bounce off, start crying, get up, and act like nothing happened.
Oh, yeah, as long as you stuff her binky in her mouth. In our house, mom's in charge. Unless dad's home. And even sometimes then mom has to step in because dad is a giant 3-year-old.
I think I'm 4.
I'm not sure you're above Karina. You just won't fit in the stroller.
And if it wasn't crazy enough with all 6 of us living in the house, this one decided we needed a dog.
Max, the dog that I begged for like a year. And finally, I got my way and we have a German Shepherd puppy. I wanted a golden doodle, but I got a German Shepherd. That's a true story.
That's an ugly ass dog.
It's a big teddy bear. He's so cute. He is 4.5 months old and bigger than both of our younger children. He's well on his way to being a 120-pound brute. He's also just as mouthy as the kids and keeps up with them in almost every way. What else?
That's pretty much it, right? Me, you, 4 kids, a dog.
Yeah, for intros. Unless you let us have a cat, because Karina wants a cat.
No.
I tried. She says to me today, "Can we have a kitty cat?" I said, "Well, your doggy would eat it." "No, he would love it and snuggle it." I said, "No, I think your doggy would eat it if we got a cat." "No, I don't think you would."
We're not getting a cat.
You get to break her heart. I tried. She wasn't having it. All right, are we doing household dynamic now?
A little bit.
So our house is pretty traditional. Kyle goes to work very early in the morning till later in the afternoon.
She gets up in the morning, puts my lunch together, makes me breakfast.
And then I go back to bed because I am absolutely 100% not a morning person unless absolutely forced to be.
That's the truth.
I sleep till 8. If anybody wakes me up before 8, you better be bleeding, throwing up, or dying. Also, if you're throwing up, do not wake me up. Find somebody else. I don't do throw up.
Yeah, you only get to sleep till 8 because you made that rule that,
Yes.
that you don't let them come down.
Listen, if you wake me up before 8 after I've already been up to see your dad out the door, we are going to have a very long day.
We had to make a rule where they don't wake mom up until 8 o'clock because mom before 8 o'clock is very mean.
Mom
then-
before coffee is mean too.
I was going to say, and if you're waking mom up, you better have her coffee started.
Exactly. You at least have the machine warmed up. I think the dog knows the sound of the coffee maker.
Probably. On the weekends, when I'm home, it's not as big of a deal. I'll get up at 7 o'clock, leave her in bed, and go and wake them up.
And then they got to get back into the routine on Monday again. He messes it all up.
Yeah, they forget. They think that I'm home every day. All of a sudden, come downstairs at 7:05. I think that's almost the more annoying one, though, not 7:05. When they come down and it's like 7:58.
Yes.
Mom, can we be up? Well, is it 8 o'clock? No. Then go back to bed.
But by the time they get back up the stairs, they can turn right back around, come right back down. That drives me nuts.
Yeah.
Do not wake me up at like 7:45 to tell me that you had to pee. Congratulations, the bathroom did not move. Go find it.
Right. You know where the bathroom is. You know where the cups are. Get a drink. Use the bathroom. Head back upstairs. And it's not even that they have to stay in bed. It's just stay in your room. Play in your room. Don't raise hell. Just be in your room. Be awake. Be alive. Just
Be
leave
quiet.
mom alone.
Be awake, be alive, be quiet. On a typical day after 8, mom has coffee, kids have breakfast. Sometime between 9 and 10, we settle into the morning for schoolwork. We try and button that up around lunchtime.
You could probably say I'll have coffee. Because we're not typing, they can hear that you're a she and that I'm a he. And they know that you're Kayla and I'm Kyle, or your mom and
What
I'm
did I
Dad.
say?
You said, typically after 8, mom gets up and have coffee, and kids start doing it. You're so used to typing.
You fucked
third
it up.
person.
You broke it.
Well, no, you talk a lot in the third person anyway.
I do?
Yeah.
I don't notice.
Yeah, you'll be talking to Karina and be like, Mom's going to go crazy.
It's a true story.
I know, but you third person a lot.
I feel like it happens most when I talk to them.
Honestly, we spend so much time talking to them in the third person that it just becomes natural. You'll say something to Karina and be like, that sounds like a dad problem. And I'm like, nope, that's not a dad problem. That's a mom problem. And Karina's just like, someone's got a problem.
Someone's got a problem, and one of you is going to figure it out for me.
Dad, because he's my favorite.
Uh-huh. So, around 8, I'll have coffee. And then between 9 and 10 is when we usually settle into the morning and start getting schoolwork done because everybody's fed, freshly caffeinated, the dog's been let out, the chaos dies down a little bit, brings us down to a dull roar and we get going on our schoolwork. After school, we usually have lunch and then I kick him out the door for some peace and quiet for a little while. That's usually when I'll start getting the housework done because the mess will drive me nuts. And there's always a mess. Even if I just cleaned up the mess, there's another mess. Just turn around a little bit, you'll find more mess. That is life with 4 kids. And then heaven forbid it's springtime and the dog is bringing in every ounce of mud he has rolled in all afternoon. In case anybody was wondering, it is currently springtime, and our dog and our children have brought in all the mud that belongs in the yard and deposited it throughout our house, not sparing an inch.
Well, that's because the kids come walking in. They're like, I need to use the bathroom. And it's like, that's great. Your boots don't have laces, right? Quit walking through the house with your muddy boots on. Take them off at the door, go use the bathroom, put them back on.
If only I could get the dog to take his mud off before he came in.
The dog's only half the problem. The kids bring in chunks of mud.
Yeah, but the dog is soaking wet all over. All over his underside is completely soaking wet.
I understand that.
And then he lays on my kitchen
It's
floor.
not mud chunks, though. It's the chunks that drive me nuts.
The chunks I can sweep up. The muddy tail swipes he leaves on the floor, I cannot sweep up. I gotta get the mop out for that.
It's probably on the cabinets if it's on the
It's
floor.
everywhere. He left a belly print in the corner of the kitchen the other day.
That does not surprise me.
I'm telling you, that dog comes in sopping wet and just plops down on the floor like it's nothing. I don't think I've used a mop so much probably since last spring. Also, I'm using the term spring pretty loosely because we're still a few weeks out from actual spring, and where we live, we get fake spring, and then we have another winter storm usually.
I was going to say, you mean because it's supposed to snow in 2 days?
Yeah, it's supposed to snow tonight.
That sucks.
Not enough to stick, but it's gonna snow. Along with our wind advisory. I thought we might be leaving Kansas earlier the way the wind was blowing. It was raining sideways. The dog stepped out on the porch and said, "Never mind, I don't gotta pee that bad." That poor dog. Ira, as we mentioned, is a bully. She also is an explorer. That poor baby, he was sleeping on the floor, and she goes over and sits down next to him and stuffs her finger up his nose and goes, "Nose!" He wakes up from a dead sleep to sneeze her finger out of his nose.
I'm just glad she does that to more than just me now.
Her finger doesn't fit as well in the dog's nose as it does in yours, though. I think she was a little disappointed.
I'll tell you what, though. I put her down for bed this evening, and her and Karina bumped heads, so they both started crying. And Karina's easy. I got Karina to calm down. I was sitting there crying. I'm like, all right, well, put your binky in your mouth. Yeah, nope, still crying. Do you have a nose? I have a nose. Where's my nose? Oh, there's a finger up my nose. That kid's giggling. We're done crying. Okay, that's cool. Nope. Get your finger out of my nose. Nope.
I'm going downstairs now. Bye.
Yeah, pretty much.
Put your finger in somebody else's nose.
Farther than a COVID test.
She's got brain matter under her fingernails, I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Oh, we got to talk about how your kids picked up dog shit.
Okay.
Do you know how they picked up dog shit?
With gloves.
And their hands.
Yeah.
They just picked that shit up like savages with their hands. So the other day, the girls were asked to clean up the dog poop out of the yard because the snow melted and it was everywhere. In all of its Technicolor Crayola glory, because the more crayons they leave out, the more crayons the dog eats. Well, my brilliant children decided that the best way for them to possibly pick up poop and deposit it into a garbage bag would be to put on black rubber gloves and pick it up with their hands like savages, piece by piece.
I mean, how else would you recommend doing it?
I don't know, with a shovel like the neighbor kid does?
I didn't give them a shovel. I gave them gloves because that's what they asked for.
Oh, my Lord. The neighbor kid was thoroughly disgusted. He's
Ask
standing
and
in
you
the
shall
yard going,
receive.
I cannot believe they're just picking that up. I said, yeah, no, me neither, but here we are, and
That's
hey,
what I
it's
used
getting
to do.
picked up. Nope.
I remember having conversations with my mom about how when she was a kid, they used to wait till it got hard and white and then they would use it for chalk.
Absolutely not.
I mean, it's free chalk.
No.
Doesn't get ruined by the weather.
No, sir. Nope. Listen, we are well enough off in life at this point that we can buy our children chalk, and it's not a problem. It's 97 cents. It'll be all right.
Yeah. So what was your hardest thing to parent this week?
Oh, that would probably be when I asked Ira if she had poop, and she giggled and ran away. So I did the, pull the back of the diaper out to see if there was poop in it, stuck my finger right in the poop.
That's terrible.
Yeah, it was not great. It was not great.
So how'd you solve that one?
Lots of dish soap and hot ass water. And then I changed her on the kitchen floor because I was like, if the poop is that far up the back of her diaper that I stuck my finger in it, I'm not changing her on the bed and risking having to wash all the bedding. A paper towel and a little cleaning spray will take it up off the kitchen floor. If it gets on the blanket, I gotta wash all the bedding. No, thank you.
Yeah.
What about you? What was your hardest parenting moment this week?
Probably on our way home from breakfast when Karina was melting down like no tomorrow, and it didn't matter what anybody said or did, that child would not stop crying and screaming. Tried turning on music from her favorite movies. That didn't work. The only thing that ended up working, I think, finally was when I told her that we were going home so that we could lay on the couch and watch a movie together and lay with Mom's star blanket on while we eat chips and dip. And then finally, like a light switch, that kid switched and was like, okay.
Giggling.
Giggling, laughing, no more crying. You would not have known she had just been screaming for the last 10 to 15 minutes.
Until Rain talked to her, and then it was back to square one.
Yep, and then Rain was like, oh, that sounds like this, that, and the third, and all of a sudden, total meltdown again. So then it was like, Rain, I know you're just trying to be helpful, but right now is not the time. She doesn't want to talk to anyone.
We were skating
right
on very thin, dangerous ice.
So now that we discussed one of the hardest moments we had to parent this week, what was one of the easier ones you had?
My favorite part of my week, any week, is when the kids climb into bed with me at 8:02 to give me snuggles before I get up and make coffee.
Yeah, I gotta get past that 8 o'clock mark.
I'm serious. It's like a light switch. You get me before 8 and you just best not talk to me at all. After 8, though, I'm a little less inclined to bite you. Unless you're the dog jumping on my bed where you know you're not supposed to be with your muddy feet. Ira likes to make sure that the first thing she does upon her feet hitting the first floor of the house is start yelling, puppy out, puppy out, puppy out, until somebody unlocks the crate for her so that she can let her dog out. In case anybody was curious, you will not be mistaken, that is Ira's puppy. It's only my puppy after Ira goes to bed. He follows her around everywhere. He kisses her when she cries, and vice versa. If she's sitting down watching cartoons and you're looking for him, 10 to 1, he's sitting by her feet watching Cocomelon for the 7,000th time that day. You dyed my bathroom sink green.
No, I didn't.
Yes, you did.
No, that's toothpaste.
Okay. There's no artificial flavors or colors in the toothpaste I buy for these kids. I'm pretty sure that color is artificial. In every sense of the word. What was your easiest parenting moment for this week?
Honestly, any parenting moment that's easy for me is when I can pawn them off to come ask you whatever it is they want to know.
Yeah, somehow I've noticed there's been more and more mom questions lately. And I love it because I'll tell them, go ask your dad, that's a dad question. And they're like, well, we asked him first and he sent us to you. And I'm like, well, wait a frickin' minute. I don't know either.
Yeah, usually it's because I'm tired or...
Right, too tired to use the brain power to figure out an answer.
Just don't care at the moment.
Can we go outside? I don't know. Go ask your mom. Well, can we go outside, Mom? Well, I don't know. Go ask your dad. It's raining. Well, Dad sent us to you. Well, I don't give a shit then. Put your shoes on and go outside.
Yeah.
Listen, unless it's like negative 15, if that question is, can I go outside? The answer is yes. Go. Goodbye. See ya. Take your sisters and the dog with you.
But legitimately, actually, probably my easiest like best parenting moment this week was when I had to stop for gas after work. So I went to BJ's and I bought chips and dip. And then when I was on my way home, Karina's yelling at you through the phone in the kitchen and everything, and I can hear her through the phone going, "Ask Dad to bring home chips and dip for me." And none of you had any clue that I bought it, so I looked like a superhero when I walked through the door with a 2-pound tub of chip dip.
That you later deposited back into the refrigerator alongside the giant family-sized bag of potato chips that most definitely did not need to be refrigerated. Yes.
Maybe I just wanted Karina to be able to find them easier. If you put them together.
She can't reach them on the top shelf of the fridge, sir.
Neither can you.
I call Rain for that. She just climbs up.
Yeah. That's Rain and her nurturing, helping Mom get to all the stuff that Mom can't reach.
Well, part of the problem is Mom buys more stuff than we have room for, so then it ends up in the top cabinets, so Rain has to climb up on the counter.
You're referring to yourself in third person again.
You just did it, so I was just going along with what you said.
That's Rain and her nurturing instinct helping you get to everything that you can't reach.
Well, yeah, I mean, she's used to it because I go to the grocery store and I buy 7 of everything. I put
Don't I know it?
3 in the cabinet, and then I have to put 4 in the top cabinet above the regular cabinets, which I have to stand on the counter to reach, so I just make Rain do it.
Speaking of all that stuff that you buy, did you even realize that I took an extra box of Pop-Tarts to work and let one of my coworkers have them?
No.
Yeah.
Is your coworker having a problem making ends meet?
No, but I was talking to him, and I took a whole box of the chocolate fudge Pop-Tarts to work, and he was like, "Oh, you got Pop-Tarts for me?" I'm like, "Sure, do you want some?" He's like, "No, that's too much chocolate and sugar first thing in the morning." He goes, "I like the s'mores ones." I said, "Oh, are you in luck? Because I've got
You're
7
the only
boxes.
one.
I've got 7 boxes of s'mores Pop-Tarts because the chocolate fudge ones keep getting eaten."
Yep, they come packaged together with the s'mores ones, and nobody apparently likes those ones. So
Yeah,
they
they
get
sit
pawned
around
off
with
on
the
somebody
strawberry
else.
ones that get ground into the couch that none of the kids eat, but had to have because they always
The
eat
dog
them.
is all about it. He loves the strawberry
Oh my
Pop-Tarts.
God.
And any other flavor he can get his mouth on.
The dog also licks his butthole. That doesn't mean he needs to.
Well, I'm not cleaning his butthole, so yeah, he does need to lick it. Speaking of butthole, your father informed our children that the cow's name at the farm is Butthole, so I think I have you to thank for that.
You do. Do you know why that is?
Yeah, something like a cow stuck his
because
head under the fence.
No, because when I was a kid, we had a cow that would come up to the edge of the fence, and he would lay there and lean under the fence to eat the grass on the other side of the fence, and he would lay there and wag his tail, and all you could see was his butthole. So that's why we named him. We named him Butthole, and then later on,
And then when Mom cooked him up for dinner, it was what's for dinner?
Later on,
Butthole.
we would pull beef out of the freezer, and we would always go, "Oh, are we eating Butthole for dinner?" Hee 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 hee. And we'd laugh about it as kids. And I told the girls about it, so now they think all the cows need to be named Butthole so they can do the same thing.
Yeah, well, that's not a word that is typically thrown around in the house, so on Sunday morning after family breakfast, wasn't I surprised to hear the 3-year-old point at a cow and go, "Look, Mom, it's Butthole!" Sundays seem to be the most nonstop shenanigans. Actually, I can't even say that, because the shenanigans stop when Dad takes his mid-afternoon nap, but after that, all hell breaks loose again.
No, all hell breaks loose while I'm napping. I know because I'll be asleep and I get woken up to a kid plopping down on top of me, sliding a book on my face, yelling
Putting
at
their
me,
finger up your nose.
hitting me with a sippy cup.
Well, yeah, it's empty. Fill it up.
My naps go a lot better if I was napping too.
I think everybody's sleeping pattern is better when Ira sleeps too.
Yeah.
Luckily, she sleeps for a while when you put her down.
Almost too long.
I don't know. She slept for 4 hours today. I was thinking about going up to check on her, and then I heard her feet hit the ground, and I went, "Oh, never mind."
I was gonna say 4 hours isn't a nap.
I think she's growing. I
Ira-
think her pants are about to get
Ira
too
thinks
short.
there's 14 days in a week because, and that I get 2 days off.
Yep. I wish Karina would get on that bandwagon. My God, if that kid would nap, our days would go a lot smoother.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, that kid.
The terrible twos followed her right into the threes.
She never had terrible twos,
No,
really.
she really didn't. I mean, she definitely had her days, but these threes are some other shit.
Yeah, terrible threes is more like it for sure. Ira never had terrible twos either. She's not having terrible twos. Ira is just
No,
zero,
not until you ask her if
0
she's
to
ready to go to
100.
bed and she throws herself
That
on the
is-
floor and
that is
screams until
the-
you put her there.
The only one of those 4 kids that you'll say she'll throw herself on the floor, start screaming, yelling. Ira, are you ready to go to bed? Yes!
I'm telling you, that kid would spend her day in bed if we let her 4-hour naps, and then 2 hours later, she's ready to go back to bed.
I know,
like,
she's
"All right,
like
I'm
you.
sick
Don't
of
wake
you
her up
people."
before 8. Don't wake her up
Seriously.
before 5.
Exactly.
Make sure she's down for a nap by 1.
She usually goes down around 11 and gets up around 3.
And that kid sleeps hard.
Mm-hmm.
When I wake her up on the weekends, she gets up and like all discombobulated, disoriented.
Looking around like, how long have I been asleep? What year is it?
Comes downstairs, food.
Food, milk, first thing in the morning. That's the big kid's job, first thing in the morning. You bring them down and mom's not up yet, you better make them chocolate milk. Because if they come in here hollering at me about chocolate milk, I'm going to be even more mad.
Yeah, when you get up, when it's 8 o'clock, you can come downstairs, but you better have your bed made, make sure your room's picked up, and bring down the sippy cups from the babies the night before. I mean, all you really got to do is ask Karina if she's got her sippy cups, and she will bring them down. But that kid will not go to bed without chocolate milk.
Neither of them will.
Well, some nights Karina will ask you to put it back in the fridge just so 5 minutes later she can yell at you that she needs it.
Uh-huh. But she tried. Kind of like how she, quote-unquote, tried to eat mashed potatoes. And by that I mean she ate like 1/8 of a teaspoon of a bite of mashed potatoes.
She put them in her mouth
She put them in her mouth, and then she screamed until Dad told her she could spit it in the garbage. And then she made up a song about how she was eating ice cream for dinner because she spit her potatoes in the garbage.
Yeah, it's better than spitting them in my hand. I'm finally
That
starting
always
to
makes
break her
me
of
laugh.
that habit.
That's my favorite part of Sunday breakfast is when the kid gets a piece of bacon that's a little too chewy, and then she screams at the table until Dad puts his hand out for her to spit her bacon in. That always makes my Sunday.
Well, I just recently got her to start spitting her food in the garbage because before then, what she would do is she would start going, and she would point at her mouth. And I'd tell her, no, go spit in the garbage. And she'd go, and she'd sit there and point at my hand. And then she'd grab my hand and try to pull it up under her mouth. And if I get my hand anywhere near her mouth, she'll
She
spit
launches
whatever it
the
is in
food
it.
out.
The one night, she gets in bed and she starts yelling, I forgot to brush my teeth. I have to go brush my teeth. I need to go downstairs and brush my teeth. So I was like, no, we're not doing this. You're already in bed. She's like, I have to brush my teeth. And she starts melting down. So I'm like, you know what? Whatever. There are a lot worse things you could melt down over. So I go downstairs, get her toothbrush for her, let her brush her teeth in her room. What's that kid do? Pulls my hand over, spits in my hand. Goes, thanks. Like, yeah, you're welcome.
See, you're nicer than me. I don't even give her the garbage option. I tell her to go spit it in the dog's bowl. He'll eat it. He don't care.
You might as well have her spit it in his mouth then, see if he can catch it. Just stand on the table, call him over.
She
spit
stands
it
on the
right
table
into his
enough.
mouth
I'm
like
not
a-
encouraging that.
Spit it in his mouth, just like a baby bird.
Well, the problem is he'd probably lick the rest of it out of her mouth, and then she'd lose her ever-loving mind.
Or Ira would take it as a challenge and think that's the only way to feed the dog.
Oh, man, I could see the 4 of them lined up, standing on the table, spitting at the dog and seeing whose food he catches first.
I don't know about the older two. I think the older two would be trying to see who can spit the food the farthest into the dog's mouth.
Meanwhile, the dog's in 7th heaven, pre-chewed food all over the place.
Yeah.
Speaking of dog food, I moved his bowl the other day. His food and water bowl live in our mudroom in front of one of our chest freezers. Well, I decided to clean that mudroom as we were having company. Moved the freezer and found probably 5 pounds of dog food under there and took one of the floor tiles with me because he has knocked over his bowl with his clumsy ass so many times that there's water sitting underneath the freezer. None of us realized it, and the floor tile got the worst of it. So that'll have to be stuck back down, and the dog bowl is moving. Needless to say.
Wouldn't that make it laminate? Like, it's not real tile. It's fake tile, right?
Yeah, it's
Laminate.
adhesive glue-on floor
Yeah, so
tiles.
that's laminate then.
Linoleum?
Whatever.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I think the kitchen is linoleum because
I
it
fix
came in a
cars,
roll.
not houses.
Well, yeah, I can see that.
Listen, I fixed Dad's car. He fixes my house.
Fix the neighbor's car. He fixes,
fixes
the
the
house.
I know a lot of people that can fix houses and not cars.
That's a good thing. That's a good ratio to have. Especially when you live in an old farmhouse that is constantly in need of something.
What do we got? 3 people currently that have worked on our house in the last 2 months because I fixed a vehicle for them.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I made the mistake of buying a semi-sweet red wine, and I am now trying to choke down the last of it. It is not great. Lesson learned. I have officially outgrown my Kool-Aid wine phase, and this is terrible. Do not recommend.
You could have just said, I bought a bottle of wine and it's terrible. It describes them all. You don't even have to describe it past that.
That could probably also be considered a parenting low. How I had to text you today to remind me how to subtract with borrowing when the number in the middle of the 4-digit number was a 0.
Yeah. When the homeschool teacher has to get a hold of Dad for math.
That's a pretty typical thing, though. I never claimed to be super good at math, especially in a situation where I am not allowed to use a calculator.
You know, I'm definitely the math teacher between the two of us.
Okay, but really, though, when are they ever going to be in their adult life and not have a calculator? I mean, really.
It's not whether or not they do or don't have a calculator. It's those things where if you have a general idea of what something should be, because do you need to know what 1,285 minus 467 is? No. But if you know roughly that you should be close to, 800.
Listen, I just need to know what the percentage discount is off of my price tag when I go shopping. That's really the math that we need to know around
If you
here.
have a rough idea of where you should be,
And then you get
it's-
to the register and the cashier gives you some astronomical number. You need to know, hey, you fucked up.
you
Yeah.
need to have enough knowledge to know that it's wrong.
Yep.
Not that it's not what you thought it was, but
Or not even
it's-
the dollar amount that it is wrong by. Just, hey, that's not even in the ballpark.
that's not in the ballpark. Then go ahead, use your calculator, whatever. But if you don't have enough math knowledge or skills to be able to go, that doesn't quite add up right.
Well, I
It
mean,
should be
when
closer
my
to
number-
this number.
When my number doesn't add up right when I get to the cash register at the grocery store, it's usually because I put more shit in the cart.
Yeah.
Which I will
Which
then
is
hear
why
about
we
later.
have 7 boxes of s'mores Pop-Tarts that I have to
On
take
off.
to work.
You're welcome. I hear they're really good toasted. I wouldn't know.
Me neither. We don't have a toaster at work.
Yes, you do.
No, we don't.
I've seen it in pictures. Yes, you do.
In what pictures?
You have a toaster oven at work.
That's not a toaster.
Yes, it is. It's in the name. It says toaster.
It's not a toaster.
Yes, it is. Put it on the rack and turn the dial.
No, that's how you burn the buildings down.
I grew up with a toaster oven.
I grew up poor with an actual toaster that was like $8 and if you were lucky, and you push the little lever down.
Do you know how I know that I grew up with a toaster oven and he grew up with a toaster? That would be because he had to teach me that the numbers on the toaster are from minutes. I had no idea. I just thought that was just the unit of measure.
I put it on setting 1 and it pops up a lot quicker than when I
Exactly.
put it on setting 2.
Setting 1, as in 1 being the least amount of done
I
and
swear,
6
if
being
I put
burned.
if I put it on setting 1, it's like half as long than when I put it on setting 2. It's crazy.
I never counted the seconds that it cooks for.
I didn't either.
In a toaster oven, it's just on. I mean, you gotta watch that shit.
Yeah, that's the problem. Is that what I need to do? I need to get you a toaster oven so I can have like toasted toast, not burnt toast.
No, you need to not ask me to make you breakfast at 5:30 in the morning. Then your toast will be perfectly golden brown and never black. I don't know what to tell
Let's see,
you.
setting 1, 2, 3. That one's got a B. Turn it on B. That must stand for better. Nope, that's burnt.
I
Oh,
toast
well,
your
not
breakfast
my
on
bread.
3. Listen, I put all of, we got a 4-slot toaster, and I turn the whole thing across the board on 3. I'll get one slice that is burnt. Like you gotta scrape the shit off of it burnt.
Yeah,
and the
and
other
that's my
3
piece.
slices are half done, and I'm trying to figure out what the hell happened. I think we need a new toaster. No, the burnt one, I usually slap the cheese on that side so that it melts on there real good and you
Yeah,
can't
it
peel
don't
it off
help.
and see how burnt it is under the cheese.
You can taste how burnt it is. You don't need to see it.
Well, I usually also try to make sure that I give Flash the burnt toast because he don't complain as long as I feed him. You, on the other hand, you whine.
That kid. I open up one of them. I open up a sandwich bag every morning when we get there. And he's like, "How do you always know which one is yours?" I said,
Because it's got your name
"I don't
on
know.
it.
Aside from the bag being labeled, I think it has something to do with the fact that mine's thicker than yours." He's like, "But they feel like so close to the
No,
same."
they don't.
Yeah, except for the double egg on this one, and you know.
My name on it.
Yeah.
I mean,
if the name didn't give it away.
it's so much thicker. It was just the way you said it. It's so much thicker. I think I'm getting tired.
Really. All right, well, that sound means it's time to get medicated and head to bed. Thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening. Have a good night.